Hello, everybody, and welcome to Module 2 of Management 375. So the first part of this whole semester has been what we called Module 1, Creating Opportunities. So we talked about the entrepreneurial mindset, right? Chapter 3 of our textbook, which talked about how do entrepreneurs think, how do we create solutions to problems, how we approach market voids, and the likes, right? In Module 1, you had two assignments. One was the pain point assignment, and the second was the mind mapping assignment. Both of these assignments were hopefully helping you to create some sort of business idea that you can now latch onto and utilize through the rest of the semester, right? So coming up in Module 2, this is when we're going to talk about due diligence. Referring back to the discovery method of opportunities, we're thinking about how do we do all that research? How do we do all that planning, right? The parts that is so essential to that discovery. Again, in this class, we're marrying discovery with creation of entrepreneurial opportunities. And so this is where that discovery starts off because research is so important to starting off on the right foot, to understanding the business that you're trying to create and how your business fits into the larger world, right? Entrepreneurs do not operate in isolation. And so we need to understand the external environment as well as the internal environment in order to really be successful. So, what are we going to be talking about in this module? Well, like I said, this module is entitled Due Diligence. This is all the research. This is the nuts and bolts. This is the strong foundation for any startup. So, this week, we're reading Chapter 4, which is called Feasibility Analysis. So read Chapter 4, then go through the PowerPoint, making sure that you're listening to the narration. Now, this PowerPoint also has some films in it. Those films are under Module 2, under the heading Movies. Those are there as extra resources for you to listen to watch, to help really solidify some of these concepts. This is a bit of a longer lecture this week because there's a lot more to cover. Next week, we are going to be starting with your other textbook. Yay, the Business Model Generation. This is an amazing book. I absolutely love it because it helps us to really put into perspective what we are trying to create. And it also gives us examples of other successful businesses so we can start thinking about what is it that is rare, that is unique about us, that we can make money off of, right? So a lot of you guys, when you put together those pain point assignments, a lot of you really struggled with, well, how would I make money off this idea? I've identified this pain. I've identified like maybe how I could create a business, but making money, having some sort of revenue stream from it is often difficult. Well, that is what we're going to be talking about. So this week is a lot about how do we do research? What do we need to research in order to have a successful startup? And then next week, we're going to be talking about, okay, now that we kind of have an understanding of this industry, we have an understanding of what's feasible, we can start thinking about different business models and how they can fit within that industry. So this week, Chapter 4. Next week, we're going to dive right into business model generation. And looking ahead, right, how does this course going to progress? So Module 1, creating opportunities, idea generation. Module 2, digging deeper, feasibility analyses, understanding our business model, how we making revenue. Then we're going to have the midterm. After the midterm, we're going to be jumping into validated learning. A lot of it is based off of this book, The Lean Startup. It is a great book, okay, by Eric Ries. If you are really serious about starting a business, I highly, highly, highly recommend you read this book. It's not required reading for this class, but it gives a great overview of what we're going to call validated learning and experimentation in entrepreneurial startups. Okay, so that's where we're headed. Right now, we're learning how to do the research, the nitty-gritty, understanding what we are trying to create. And then the next module is going to be how do we test it? How do we understand if we're making progress? How do we understand if what we're creating is actually valuable to those who we assume it is valuable for, right? So the big assignment that's going to be due on October 18th is from the business model generation. It's called the business model canvas. Now that assignment is already posted and the 3 handouts to help guide you through that process are already posted. You can start taking a look. We're going to be jumping into what the business model canvas is next week, right? And there's a little bit in your textbook about it in chapter 4. But that's just kind of what's coming up, what's on the horizon, so you can start pacing yourselves. Another big announcement. Da-da-da-da. Now, I sent out a Canvas announcement for this, but I've decided to make the midterm and the final exam open book, open note, meaning you do not need to get a proctoring service. Why did I change this policy? Well, number one is this class, the emphasis is on the entrepreneurial process, which the process requires action. I want you guys to really be focused on the assignments and putting everything into those assignments, right? So your business model canvas, I want it to be as complete and as thought out and as thorough as possible, which the business model canvas is due right around the same time that the midterm is opening. I don't want you sacrificing on this assignment, studying and stressing for this midterm, because in all reality, my goal with this class is not for you to regurgitate textbook concepts and then vomit them on an exam. That's not really helpful to you in the long term, and I want this class to be as grounded and as practical as possible because so many of you want to start a business and so many of you want to be entrepreneurs. So let's put the emphasis on the assignments and the tasks that will help you achieve your goals rather than those that are just stressful. Now, we do still need a test because I want to make sure that you are doing the readings, that you are understanding the concepts, but having it open book and at your leisure, meaning on Canvas, you don't have to worry about proctoring, you don't have to pay for proctoring. It just puts that emphasis again back onto the assignments rather than the tests. So again, midterm and final are open book, open note. They'll be published on Canvas. You do not need to go to a proctoring service. You do not need to schedule it. You'll just take it sometime during that week that it's open. I hope that this helps you to really focus more time and more energy on those assignments because the goal is these assignments is to help you prepare to start and launch a business. And I know so many of you are interested in that, so let's do it. Let's get those businesses launched and ready and in good shape. So I look forward to continuing our discussions, and I hope you have a wonderful week. Thank you so much.